What's up, pond people? We are excited to finally share with you the project we've been working on at Dave's house for a bit now. Dave is, of course, both our boss and the top frog. He does both roles simultaneously, and he's got this wonderful feature at his house, except for one thing. The seating area and the steps leading up to it are lame. They're just lame with a capital L, so we're going to go in there and fix it, turn this L into a W, so join us for the journey. We're off to a great start as Chente's pointing at the drone like a UFO, and he's looking for an early 2000s flip phone to take a poor quality video of it, as all UFO videos should be. Things only get better from there as the Site 1 delivery guy's got a big old rock load coming our way and drops them off. He's got a pretty big machine coming through, but we've got one that's even bigger. Not trying to flex, just stating facts here. But in all honesty, this excavator is going to be instrumental in what we are going to be doing here. To lay it out for you guys, we're going to be laying big stone steppers all the way up to the seating area, and we are also extending the seating area so that Dave can put a fire pit in the middle of it and make it more of a place you want to hang out at year round, so you can get that full 365-day-a-year usage out of it. And one of the most important steps of putting steps in is to make sure it's got a nice surface for the rocks to sit on. So what Braden is doing here is we've got a layer down of gravel, and we also put rock dust on top of that, and he's just leveling it out with a tamper. Now the reason you want to do rock dust on top of the gravel is because it kind of acts like how a mattress does, you know, when your body sinks into one of those Tempur-Pedic or whatever mattress you use, it kind of shapes around your body. So by having kind of a malleable layer on top and not just hard rock, the heavy stones we put down will be able to sink down a little bit and get a nice tight fit into their spots. That's right, you've heard of tossing rocks, you've heard of breaking rocks. Here at Pondscapes, we are now putting rocks to bed. We're putting them down in a mattress, getting them nice and comfy and level, and we're going to walk on them. We're going to stomp on them, we're going to step on them, we're going to jog up and down them. We'll do whatever we want on these rocks, because when we're done, they're going to be stable. Now it's day 2 here. It's a bit rainy and wet out, but the Pondscapes crew is assembled for another day of putting in the lemon pepper steppers for Dave. We got Brad and Braden working on the steps, and we've got Darren and Chente working on the retaining wall. Now this is just an extension of the existing retaining wall, and we're using the bricks from the original step area to extend it a little bit because we got to put them to good use. Now the strategy today is going to be the same as yesterday, except hopefully we improve upon our 1 step a day rate. You saw we only got 1 down yesterday, but that's because we had to clear the area and do other things. Today, you can see Braden's already got a second one down, and this is the 3rd step going in right now. You always want to be slow and steady and patient when you're working with a big machine like this, because they can be very dangerous, so we're always very careful. But you want to be extra careful when you're working with rocks like this, because we've got a lot of large boulders on site, and a rock like this, when it's strapped up, if you hit it the wrong way on top of a large boulder, it can split right down the middle, and then you can't use it as a stepper because it's just far too small at that point. And of course, when I talk about how fragile the rocks are, you get a clip of Brad beating on a rock with the top of his excavator. But he was just pushing that rock down into the rock dust to get it all comfy and cozy. He was essentially just tucking it in for a good night's sleep. And you can see here that the guys aren't making the path straight. We don't want it straight. We want it to meander around, because a straight staircase is very boring. You want kind of some curvature, and you can kind of give it some shape with the big boulders around it. And I know that stone stepping pathways do not form naturally in nature that are perfectly level, but this will give it more of a natural look as well, rather than straight, flat, and up. Here we are feeding the beast a little bit, and by the beast I mean the excavator, and by feeding it I mean with shovelfuls of gravel, because that thing just chomps gravel all day long. You feed it the gravel, it spits it out wherever you want it to go, and it does the same with dirt. I mean, it prefers a nice, healthy, balanced diet, so this thing will eat gravel, it'll eat dirt, anything you give it really. It makes short work of it and asks for seconds. So yeah, with the combined effort of the excavator and the Pondscapes of Charlotte crew, day 2 is going phenomenally. The guys are just working on leveling out that last stone stepper right now, because we definitely want each of them to be level as we're going up. So I'm sure absolutely nothing could go wrong, and Dave is going to show up tomorrow and be super impressed. Yeah, so we did it wrong. The retaining wall we built yesterday was not quite the right pattern, and also we did not do everything we could to make it as structurally sound as we could. So Dave's given us a little lesson in Masonry 101 to help out, and we're going to take another crack at it today. On top of that, when we normally build, we are allowed a little bit of artistic freedom, but this time with the steps, that artistic vision did not quite line up with Dave's, which it's his house and he's got to see it every day, so I get it. So Dave is going to be in the machine today, help out a little bit, and we're going to reset some of those stones we put down yesterday. I was making fun of Brad for it because he got kicked out of the machine, and he's beating me up, so I kind of started fighting back, and yeah, so I bit off a little bit more than I could chew in that fight, and Dave did not appreciate me making fun of his son, so they united against me in an effort to take on my drone, but the result is that they became friends again, so we're all good. And you can see how much quicker the guys built that wall the second time. It was a lot easier when we had the proper strategies, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. Something that took them all day yesterday, they were able to do in just an hour or two today, so the strategy helped. And Brad was even allowed back in the machine. You can see how happy it makes him, and he's still beefing with my drone. The drone doesn't even drink water, so I don't know what that was about. This clip kind of makes me laugh because we've got one of the young guys in the machine and two of the more, we'll call them senior officials at Pondscapes, pushing this giant rock. And then I got this clip of Dave tripping, which I thought was a little funny, but hopefully he doesn't watch this video or know that I laughed about it, because definitely a lot happier that Brad's in the machine right now, because I don't think he's going to do anything quite like that. And here's a good 360 of one of the boulders we're bringing in. It gives you a good sense of how big these things actually are, so you got to be extra careful around them. And the rock gets a little bump on the machine here. It looks like a whale shark hitting the side of an aquarium. And I can only imagine the conversation between Braden and Chente right now is something along the lines of, "Bro, I'm so glad we don't have to move that thing." Here's Dave giving Brad a little pep talk before moving one of the huge boulders, and Brad's face just exudes confidence right now. But I don't blame him, because this boulder's got to be strapped up to the bucket and also balanced up on the blade, and right now he's going by a corner of his roof that is pretty low. But skillfully he gets this thing up and over where it needs to be, and kind of our boulder holding zone where we can try out the different boulders and see which one fits best where and get a good look at them. I just like that clip because the gravel falling had a good sound to it, and also Darren's boot just comes out of nowhere and starts kicking that giant bag. I mean, the man's literally kicking rocks, so I don't know, I enjoyed it. Now Darren is taking his pet rock for a walk. He's grown this thing all the way up from pebble sized, but he said, "You know what, Dave, I'm finally ready to let my rock go. It's been living in my house long enough. You can have it, and I'll let you use it as a stone stepper on your seating pad." So clearly a difficult goodbye for Darren, but now this rock is going to have a nice new home in Dave's seating area, so new lease on life. The guys are going to go ahead and get this rock nice and level, because the only thing worse than uneven stairs is an uneven seating pad, because then one of the legs of your chair is all off the ground and wobbly, and you just can't have that. You got to have level stairs, and you got to have a level seating area, so the guys putting in good work to get that. Day 4 was kind of unique. We had a smaller crew today, and it was Chente and Blake working on this kind of side path thing, but we had to make a lot of these steppers by hand by cutting up the bigger stones, and you can see what they were able to get. This goes from Dave's front porch all the way to his backyard. And we just had a nice little picnic today. That's it. We didn't do any work, just a picnic. No, actually we did finish today, but the project at this point looks too close to what the final reveal is going to be, so I didn't want to show you guys any clips of that. You do get this no context clip though. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, just this is what happened, but I hope you guys enjoy the final reveal. Sandwich cheer. Yeah. So yeah, let's give you guys a little rundown of what we're working with here. You can see a lot of that grass is grown back from where we tore it up, and we've got a nice meandering footpath. If you remember, at the end of day 2, we had the steps curving in towards the stream, and in that same spot we're now curving away from the stream. This is helpful because it's made a longer pathway for us, which makes it easier to reach our height goal, because obviously we had to have these steps line up with the start of the seating area, and so by having a longer pathway we could use more stones to get up to that height a little bit easier. In other words, if you only had enough room for like 3 steppers, they'd have to be about 2.5 feet tall each to get up to the required height. And you can see here we added moss and other plantings to the space between the steps, as well as kind of the side perimeters of this. This makes it look a lot better and more grown in, but it also helps hold that dirt in place so that it doesn't wash out every time it rains. And here's an update on the retaining wall we made. It still looks fantastic. And now we're going to check out Blake and Chente's pathway. I'm leaving it unmuted so you can hear my pitter patter. And this thing has grown in a lot better too. You can see it's a little harder to get the grass to grow there, but the steps have settled in very nicely. And the best thing about these steps is after a nice pleasant morning of eating s'mores for breakfast or whatever you want to do, because you're an adult and you can do whatever you want, you get to see this beautiful pond, which is what it's all about. All of this stuff is to be complementary to the pond and to the water feature as a whole. It's just another piece of the puzzle to make this outdoor experience here with the water feature even better. So now, no matter who comes to visit, whether it's friends or family or the Amazon delivery guy, everyone is going to have a much comfier time at the feature now. So hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one.